Okay. Oh, good Friday morning. Welcome to chair yoga. We've got everybody here. We might still have a couple more joining us. Looking at who was signed up online. We had about 5 or 6, and we've got three with us right now. So we'll go ahead and get started and just sit nice and tall. And just a little shout out to Red Friday today. And not just because of the Chiefs, it's actually Go Red for Women Day as well, which is the American Heart Association. They started that campaign 20 years ago to try to help bring awareness to heart disease in women. So just a extra reason to wear a red shirt today or wear something red. All right. Let's just start by sitting up nice and tall, relaxing those shoulders. And just start with just observing your breath. Are you breathing deeply? Or are you kind of just breathing halfway? And just becoming aware of that will probably encourage you to breathe more deeply. And just do that for a few moments. Those full deep breaths, where you actually take a little bit of control over what's normally an involuntary act. That does have a calming effect on your central nervous system. Calms that fight or flight system. And you notice that fight or flight system, if you have a near miss when you're driving or, something like that, where you kind of feel your heart beating and you kind of feel weak in the legs. It's really noticeable then, but what you may not notice is more of a low-key, long-term chronic arousal of your fight or flight system. It's real subtle and it's not real noticeable, and you get used to it and it starts to feel normal. And that can have a lot of wear and tear on various parts of your body. Higher cortisol levels may tie into some inflammation concerns. There's a lot we don't know. First step in addressing it is just being aware. So now really feel your belly. It's not just the ribs, and all the way down to your belly, expanding and contracting with the breath. Just take one more full deep breath. And if you have room, just let your arms hang down at your sides. Completely passive, and just let them, no tension. In fact, just imagine the tension running off your shoulders and down your arms and just dripping off your fingertips. And just shake it all off. We'll move into some stretching upward, reaching upward. And then bring the hands all the way down to the ground, nice and slow, moving with your breath. So as you're inhaling, that's where your arms are traveling upward. Exhaling and moving down. This time we're going to leave the arms up overhead briefly. And just do a little shoulder shifts, one reaching, and then the other as you rock those shoulders side to side. And bring the hands down to the sides. So we're just kind of cleaning a lot of space around ourselves here in the chair. Sides and front. Feel moving with your breath, inhaling as the arms travel upward, exhaling as they come down. And then just draw the hands into the heart center. Let your thumbs connect with your breastbone. Feel like you're gently elevating your breastbone into your thumbs, which will help you sit up tall and straight. And now you're feeling this external connection with the rib cage. And again, just breathe. Relax your jaw. And then interlace the fingers. Push the hands away. Feel that broadening of the back and the stretching of your wrists. Reach overhead, squeeze your shoulders towards your ears. And again, tip the shoulders more to the side. Your spine's not bending a whole lot. It's still more movement in the shoulders than the spine. But we're working toward that. We're just going to ease into the whole practice today. Let's do one more to each side. Come back to center. Release those hands down. And again, let's just shake those hands out. And then we're going to start moving down lower to the torso. We're circling the upper body, but the rotation's happening down in the lower torso. You'll feel your weight shift one sit bone to the other as you circle around. And there's a little bit of a rocking sensation. Let's reverse that. And come back to center. And let's go ahead and pick up the leg. We're just going to take it right on down to those hips. Try to have that leg be as supported as possible by the hands. Let's reverse that. And just notice what you're feeling in your hip. Let's go to the other side. Do some slow, easy circles. All right, we're going to move into a seated eagle. So cross your right leg over your left. Open your arms, spread your wings, and then right arm underneath. Either put your hands on your shoulders or intertwine your forearms. Keep your spine nice and tall. Broaden your shoulders. Gently squeeze the upper arms away from the chest. And one thing we get to do in a seated position is we can actually slide those forearms back and forth. So let's do that now. Press forward like you're trying to push those elbows right up in front of you. And then pull back and even maybe move it past upright. And things we can't get away with if we're standing on one foot at the moment. And as you're moving back and forth, still have that sense that you're broadening your shoulders. All right, press it forward and hold. And then slowly let your chin sink to your collarbones. Our default is to shrug our shoulders, and we do it all the time without even realizing it. So just notice that if that happens, just if you broaden them, it's hard to shrug them at the same time. Come back, release, big opening, uncross those legs, lean forward out of your chair. Try to hang on if you can, just don't tip out of it. Yeah, face planting out of a chair in yoga probably isn't very zen. Let's go ahead and come back up. Left leg over now, left leg on top. And spread your wings. Left arm on the bottom, either hands on the shoulders or intertwined. So you should feel as a strong stretch in your upper back where your neck, shoulders, and back meet. And squeezing upward. And getting that stretch started. And then when you feel like you've got that established, go ahead and start sliding forward. Pulling back. Let's do that one more time. And squeeze a little more upward and let your chin slowly sink toward the collarbones. How much tension have you been carrying up in that part of your body? And the arms and the legs. And again, reach back behind you as you extend your chest forward. And come up. All right, so we're going to open our legs out to the sides. And just take that torso. I'm going to go down in the center and just flow through this. Rolling up. Reach your chest towards your right leg. And come up. Reach your chest into that center space. And here you go, we're probably a roll of your spine. Reach your chest, lift. Come back into that center space again. One more time to the right. Lift it up into that center space. And one more time to the left. And one more time into that center space. If it's hard to reach the floor, you can always put something in between your hands and the ground. And just lift and lower your toes a few times. Heels and toes. Pop, pop, yeah. All right, let's walk those hands back up. Scoot a little bit to the right side. We're going to come into a supported warrior two. So try to have as little contact with the chair as you can, even maybe taking it to where it's actually more into the thigh as opposed to the sit bone. And do what you need to do to stay safe on the chair. We don't want you falling off. And let's just do a little shift. That's the beauty of being on the chair. We have more support for the lower body, which frees up the upper body for more movement. All right. So this is something we tend to do when we're standing. Just go ahead and lift that heel and reach up. And then bring that hand down, and we're going to come into a side angle. And try to go along with your body. You can see my arm and my side body and my leg are fairly aligned. Bottom hand, just reaching. Well, it's actually support. We're going to keep that support steady. One thing you might notice here is that top hip may collapse backwards. So kind of roll it. Yeah, I can bring my hand down and we'll just do that a little bit. I feel that hip rolling. And there's things we can explore here with the support that we can't do without it. Let's do that one more time. All right. Let's reach up one more time here, stretch up. Pull the hands into the heart. And we'll shift, other side. So same thing here. I'm actually coming, it's more under my thigh than my sit bone here. So it's a little wider stance. All right. You guys can see what, imagine what my leg's doing here. Warrior two. And again, just scooch to the right and left. Back and forth. All right, lift that heel, turn that right palm up, reverse warrior. And we're going to come into side angle. So get that support. Reach your arm and your body in line and your leg in line. And notice if that top hip, it's going to try to collapse back into the chair. An option here, if you again have a block and want to do this, you can put your hand down. Oh, I'm getting cramp in my hip now. All right, let's bring that up. Wait, I can know that. Ooh. Yeah. All right, let's get back into that. I should look at that. All right, let's roll that hip a little bit here. Yeah, it's got a little Charlie horse in the hip. Nobody's immune to cramping. All right, bring that leg around. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stand up now and come into our little sun salutations. So just go ahead and face your chair. I'm just going to inhale, lift up. Hold the hands into the heart. And then just going to dive those hands down, flatten your back. Step back into plank. And then pull your hips back, coming into a chair, supported downward dog. And then step your right foot forward, angle your left, reach those hands up. And pull them into the heart. A lot of connecting with the heart today. Go with the heart. Bring the hands down to the chair. Step your right leg back. Return to plank. And then downward dog. And we'll step that left foot forward. Angle your right. Warrior one. Pull the hands into the heart. Reach down to the chair. Step back into plank. If your body's strong and straight, just a little tiny bend in those elbows, just engage those triceps. Because when your triceps engage, it also carries up into your shoulders. And you might notice that if you lock your arms, your shoulders aren't as engaged either. So bend the elbows slightly and feel how that goes up into the back of the shoulders and the shoulder blade area. All right. Step your feet back towards your chair, towards your knees, and where your spine, reach up. Pull your hands into heart center. So stand tall, elevating your breastbone into your thumbs. At the same time, you're rooting your feet into the ground. Legs are strong, your pelvis is well supported. So we're going to reach for the back of the chair this time. You might have to change your position. Hands to the back of the chair. It's a little higher up. And you might have to wiggle the feet back. Depends on how long your arms and torso are. And you're just pushing into this. And this is kind of the same feeling you might get in child's pose with your upper body. So we're simulating that shoulder stretch, holding the hips away from the hands. I'm going to do a little transition here. So I'm going to keep my right hand on the chair and bring my left hand to the seat. And then kind of scoot my feet apart and open up. So I've got my quad is engaged on my front leg, so my leg isn't locked. It's almost locked, but not quite. That supports your knee. My feet are really engaging with the floor like they're trying to slide apart. And I'm really reaching through the side body. My hand on my seat on the back of the chair needs to be pressing downward. All right, we're going to come out of this, so bring that left hand down. Bring both hands to the seat. Get your feet back side by side. We're going to repeat this on the other side. So we set up the same way. Bring the neck spine, pull the hips away and really reach to the shoulders. The difference between this and downward dog is we're not bearing weight on our hands at all. This is more of a pure extension out of the shoulder socket. All right, so now we're going to keep that left hand on the chair and bring your right hand down to the edge of the chair. And right leg is back, left foot steps forward. So I'm turning my hips slightly to the right and opening that arm up into triangle. You can see the back side of it. So I've got my quads engaged on my left leg, my front leg. Both feet are really rooting into the ground. Like they're trying to slide apart. And I'm really expanding out over the back of the chair. Breathe as you're in this position. Bring that hand down. Both hands come to the seat. Step your feet toward the back of the chair. And we're just going to do some cat-cows now. Round and arch. Rounding, so your chin is tucking under towards your collarbones, tail's tucking under. And then you're lifting and arching your head and your tail. Do that one more time. And let's come back to neutral, and we're gonna wag our tail a little bit. Now you'll probably notice you don't have as much mobility here as you do when you're on all fours, hands, and knees. Let's look at that same action. All right. Let's bring those toes all the way together. Second toe pointing straight ahead. And then just lift up. Squeeze your legs together. Press the rest of the way up. Stretch those fingertips, reach tall. Come back to heart center with your hands. Relax the shoulders. Elevate the collarbones. Lift your toes. Feel your arches engage. Feel your lower leg muscles engage. Carry that all the way up to your hips. Relax the back of the pelvis and then gently elevate your pubic bone. We are in mountain pose, Tadasana. Standing tall like a pillar. And release down. So we're going to approach our chair now from a wide-legged stance. So bend over and just step your feet, for whatever spacing is comfortable. And then lower down however far you feel comfortable here. If you can get down to where you can rest your forehead on the seat of the chair or a block and just feel that support. This is considered to be a calming position. Take one more breath here. Slight bend in the knees. Walk your hands back to the seat of the chair and just sit on it. Straddling facing the back. And again, sometimes just leaning into the back. This is more of a supported sit here. We're going to move into a little bit of a twist. So just turn to one side. If you have arms on your chair, just turn around and go the other way. Just want to have the back of the chair there. I know a few of you are using dining room chairs that may or may not have arms. That way. Oh, that's got some pops. All right. So we gotta get up and do this, but we're gonna come around and sit sideways now. I'm just gonna keep my chair here. And we're gonna continue twisting with a little deeper twist. So I'm gonna reach across with my left hand is in front, my right's in back. And I'm just gonna pull with the front hand, push with the back. Very important that your spine is tall. And just try to have it all working through your hands. Where you're not, we use our core a lot to twist, and there's nothing wrong with that, but at the moment, try to let the core just support the spine and not really help with the twist. That makes sense. Keep breathing. When we breathe into a twisted torso, it's having some deep stretching effects more internally, like between your rib cage, even into your diaphragm, your deepest abdominal muscles, your transverse abdominis. So release. And then draw the leg that's farthest away from the back of the chair down. This is where you might need a block. You want to have your hips pretty even. And then just support on this chair and lift that top hand up. And see if you can turn a little bit out to the side. And bring it down. This time we lift up both hands. And pull those hands into the heart. Turn to the inner thigh side. This is, again, you're stripping some weight off that chair, so be mindful of what you need to do to stay on the chair. Back to the front. And we're going to take this leg up. Bring it all the way through. And just reach down for it. That's okay here to let this hip drop a little bit. Just a little modification to a stretch that we do with our hips usually even. And come on. All right, we are going to change sides. So I'm going to turn my chair around. You can turn your body around, whatever chair it is, whatever you need to do. So we end up again with facing the side and we're facing away from the chair. Let's go ahead and come into our twist. Keep the spine nice and tall. Relax those shoulders. And just stay here for a few breaths, breathing, feeling the effects of that twist. You have more resistance to inhaling this way. But you're literally wringing the breath out, so it may help you, with a deeper exhale, kind of clear everything out. Breathe it out. And come back to the center. The hand is farthest away, reaches up. And turn your torso. Drop that leg down. Yeah, there we go. You feel a lot better. And bring it down. Lift that up now with both arms extending upward. Breathe. And pull your hands back to your heart. And then turn again. Now we have to use our torso to create the twist. So that's the difference. Just notice how that feels different. You come back to the front. Take this leg through. Let your sit bones sag off the chair a little bit and reach for that foot. All right, so we're gonna go back around to our normal seated position. And hopefully you have a strap handy or some way to connect your hands. So just get some tension on that strap. I find it helpful to gently drop my pinky fingers. It just seems to get my shoulders a little better placed. We're just going to lift and lower the first few times. And eventually make our way down behind our head. All right, so this next time, you have the option of pulling the strap down behind the head. Just do that slowly and gently, noticing what you feel. That really opens up the chest. And press it on. So lower it down again. And now try a little harder with that right hand. Feel everything pulled over to that right side. You have to feel your lower body kind of countering that pull. Other side. And that's fine. If it didn't do that, you'd be more likely to tip sideways out of your chair. Let's go back to that right side again. And you get a little bit of a bending of the thoracic spine, which is basically the part of your spine that has ribs connected to it. And think of it that way. And just the fact that you've got your ribs connected to your spine there does limit that range of motion. All right, so I'm going to turn my hands a little more. You're going to see my pinkies are down. And drop those shoulders down from the ears. And we're just going to rotate. Bring it across. Now feel how your weight and your hips subtly shift when you twist to the right. What's happening with your left side of your body, and then how that kind of transfers across. That takeaway that everything we do, every movement we do is connected to another movement, another body part. All right, we'll put that down and pick up a foot. So push gently into the inside of that knee. And if you want to gently tighten up on that ankle, we're just rotating that thigh bone, getting a deeper stretch in that hip. Slowly circle your ankle. Just go around 3 or 4 times. Really get as much movement as you can. And then release, and then cross. Let's get the other side, same thing. Gently press into the inside of your leg, right inside the knee. You can support the foot if you need to, just to deepen that rotation. If you need to do that, not everybody needs that. This crossing the leg is a pretty strong stretch for some of you. And that reflects how your hips are put together. And slowly circle that foot. Now, sometimes what's perceived as tightness is really just due to your own anatomy. So you have to discern what you're working against. All right, let's uncross. We're going to extend both legs down, coming into a chair supported stack pose. So just pull your toes towards you and just start to shift towards the front of your chair. And you're going to feel like you're at the edge. We don't need to reach down to our toes. We're keeping our back flat. The thing you'll notice is that as your hamstring tendons may just cross the edge of that chair, you may feel your hamstring tendons kind of interacting with the chair. All right, pull that in. And then we're going to move back to the feet again. You can see this. I'm going to really exaggerate, pulling my toes up and then my heels. And then now I'm going to lift my toes and turn out. And then turn back. And then heels out, heels together. So toes, my ankles are going all over the place here. And pigeon toed and together. Let's do that one more time. And together. All right. Let's move on into the upper body now. Take your arms out wide. Give yourself a hug. And just slowly turn side to side. And as you come through center, we're going to open those arms. Remember one arm is on top. And then do it again with the other arm on top. Just slowly back and forth. And release. Let's go ahead and just interlace those fingers. And we're just going to press out, pull back, press out, pull back. Last one. Take it out. Stretch up towards the ceiling. So reversing the pattern we started with, bring those hands down, sweep it under the legs, bring it up, pull it into heart center. One more time, hands go up that midline, sweep down, crossing under the legs, reaching up, and pull it in. Relax your hands down. And just start to return your awareness back to your breathing. Back. If your feet are a little more comfortable with the wider's face, do that. Let your hands rest on your legs in a position to receive. I'll leave you with this thought today. If you find yourself especially stirred by what you're witnessing out there, it may be a reminding signal for you to connect with your heart, bringing grace, compassion, and kindness to yourself, free of judgment, harshness, or shame. May the love and kindness you show yourself overwhelm you like a giant blanket of fluffy goodness. Namaste. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have a great rest of your day. Go Chiefs.